Do you have any helpful ideas?
Wait, what? Getting in the door?
I guess, man.
Did you try punching in the code?
It seems as if there is a lawful good aura emanating from somewhere inside the kiosk, an overlay of a topographical map. And the most interesting thing on it is you see these little tiny dots. And as you pay attention to them more, it seems as if all of them have little tags.
Why keep paper files on a digital server?
You know how hard it is to crawl through the ventilation, first from the cafeteria, track you to the rec room. The filing room is on the opposite side of the facility, you wankers.
Foundlings, and welcome back to another episode of the Odd Campaign. I am the one, the only Quentin, your GM here, as I am joined by a full table of players who are eagerly awaiting yet another rendition of the continuation of what is totally the final episode.
Or what seems like it could be the final episode.
This is it.
Hi!
For attempt number 5 of it being it.
Well, listen, my name is Emily, but I'm not here really to play anybody right now. I'm here to assist the GM in running a bunch of characters because he can't do math.
If any characters sound different, it's definitely just because I have a sinus infection, so it makes my voice more high-pitched.
I'm not voicing the characters. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
I'm Grundle Clawwitch.
Oh, no. Grundle, what happened? Why do you look suddenly voluptuous and still ugly?
I don't know what you mean. This is how I always look. This would kill my voice, by the way.
I am RL. I'm playing the one, the only, the Zana Xerxes Zion, and her lovely animal companion that will soon be no more.
What?
You'll always be with me, Alistair. You're my mental manifestation.
So I'm like a cricket, like your conscience?
Well, yeah, you're a little bit, my conscience is very self-judgmental. Why do you think you're so sassy?
It all comes full circle.
Hello, I'm Jonathan, and I play the character Lucien today, as Monk Tama is no longer in the game.
Last time, when we left off, we have successfully broken into the underwater facility of Camille Lysimus, though it seems as if there is some form of complex encoded teleporter system. So our group has been meticulously going through and identifying what codes they can in order to locate the server room. But after receiving a mysterious note guiding them to the file room, they encountered none other than Stefan, the man who set this whole plan in motion. And I think that is where we're going to pick up with this week's episode.
Trying to put a time limit on me. I didn't even say when to meet me here. You could have done a stakeout. You could have hid. You could have searched and maybe found my tunnel system. I have to stash out in the cafeteria just to get sustenance by hiding in a kiosk and hope someone drops a bag of chips.
Oh, that was you?
You're new. And he points over to Lucian.
So that was you hiding in the kiosk?
Wait, you saw me in the...
How did you see me? Those are like solid walls, more or less. I've got to get a fishing hook that I made out of it.
I didn't see you per se. I saw your aura.
Really glad no one else has that.
I was told to give this to you. It's a little circlet. Text from psionic damage and other...
Sounds immensely useful. He just puts that on.
Had our friend Mateo make those up for us.
Mateo is now our friend. Duly noted.
Yes.
All good information. So, when Snow and Drake and Wilson get in here?
Zana's face gets very tight very quick. And
Also, why are you all part of a different guild?
why don't you show us those tunnels you have, and I'll tell you on the way.
Oh, all right. So,
You know the way
it's
down.
kind of like single file, and I'm not sure the big guy's gonna fit. Yeah, I had to dig these out with a spoon.
It's a heck of a spoon.
Well, I guess
It's my army spoon.
basically Snow, Draken, our new friend Tama, and Wilson. I think they're lost. They took Camille's deal, despite all of my warnings, and despite her being the least trustworthy person in this entire game. They took her deal, and now she does in air quotes, logged off.
No, so she'll let him leave.
You really think she'd let them leave?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just a third-party contractor here. Though, what I can say is if we can get me to pretty much any active workstation, I can check for you.
I have the code for the lab and a key card.
Both of those things will be needed.
Oh, and I also have this I haven't looked at yet. I flip it open.
This book seems to outline something that is big, bold letters at the top that just says Project Atlas. You're not too certain exactly what the contents are, but you do see a number of repeating buzzwords, some drawings, diagrams mentioning brainwaves, neural networks, mappings, all sorts of things. Talks about unlocking the human potential.
Sciencey, biancy notes, no codes. Is this helpful to use? Stefan? Stefan is your name, right?
Yes, and well, not exactly my area of expertise.
I was hoping somebody wrote down a cheat sheet for those codes.
Oh, what codes do you need?
Well, we're hoping to get to the server room at some point.
Oh, okay. Well, no. However, routine maintenance does have to be performed on the servers, from my understanding. I haven't been able to observe anyone utilizing the server code, but if you go to the dormitories or the machine rooms, you may be able to get in contact with either one of the maintenance crews.
How would getting into contact with them help?
They would probably know the server code because they routinely go to the servers.
And they would just give it to us.
With the right amount of persuasion. Listen, I've been biding my time here trying to navigate my way through.
But I trust your navigation skills, despite how little I actually know you.
So, as I was stating, there are a number of players moving around about the facility. However, a number of them do have to maintain the servers. Camille frequents that area as well, and her primary right-hand man, General Roland, does seem to also go there frequently as well.
General Roland? I thought he was taken care of.
It was rather strange. He did disappear for a period of time, but he's been back for the past couple of weeks.
He's an NPC. She can just reload his data. Basically reset it if she needs to, right?
Not entirely sure how it works. However, what I did notice is when he came back, he was different.
Different how? Different more agreeable or different more aggressive? Because I've had one run-in with that guy, and let me tell you, it was not a picnic in the park.
Definitely the latter.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, if he sees my face, it's basically instant death. Any of you guys? No, Grog, Crystal, he knows our guild.
We're a part of a new guild.
No, I mean, he had profiles of us on our guild, listing our specialties, how we usually perform in combat. They know all of our tricks. Act with that in mind. So, I guess, what?
What is the code to the dorm or machine room? Do you happen to know those?
Yeah, like I said, I can give those to you. The dorm is going to be 3676. And brace yourself for the machine room. This one's a little long.
Machine room is 6224463. Like I said, if you can get me access to one of the computer systems, I can actually check on the status of some of your friends.
Let's get you to computer. I go up to the door and get ready to type in the lab code of 2667.
All right, and again, the gate flickers to life, and you step through. There are multiple computer workstations scattered all throughout the facility, and you spot the 3 individuals who were there previously. One of them turns over. Carlos, who are your friends?
They're helping with my project. I'll just make sure his mouth is moving.
Do we have the clearance to...
Shut up, okay? Jeez, do you want this done? I will have Carlos, quote-unquote, take the lead and start working to a computer.
Okay. The guy just kind of skeptically sit back down his computer and start typing.
Grog, get him.
Oh, you heard the lady. And he just tackles the guy. Holy...
As the other 2 people just like stand up, push their chairs back, their chairs go flying. Some guy spills a drink. You see one of the computers go... Zzz.
Lucian, hold person.
You all are able to eventually subdue the 3 individuals.
In the bag. Crystal, you get them in the bag.
Alrighty.
You're up, Stefani. Do you need key cards? You know what?
I mean,
Why don't we all take a key card?
their computers are already on, and they're already logged in.
Oh, is that what these are for?
Well, yeah, the key cards are basically access to the systems. That way, just not any Joe Schmo could walk in here.
Then we make sure Lucian has one. So there you go, bud.
You've been given a key card.
So I stand back as I watch Crystal stuff bodies into a bag and Stefan do whatever he's doing on a computer.
Roll a perception check.
I hope it doesn't absolutely suck this time. Dang! Dang! Last time I rolled a 1. This time I rolled a 2. For a total of 15.
Crystal just starts shoving bodies into the bag. Meanwhile, Stefan does look a little concerned. So, what do we want to do about this one? And he points to the screen.
What is on the screen?
You see that it looks like there's some form of instant messenger application open on the screen that the one individual is typing at, and it says, Camille, we might need your input here.
Mm-hmm.
No further messages were sent, just that one.
I guess we should take care of that.
That means she could be coming down here.
Never mind. Carlos finally got it figured out. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that someone is finally doing their job.
Good.
Maybe next time, don't notify me if it's something that can be resolved so easily.
Apologies, ma'am. You think she's monitoring this computer now? Heck, she's monitoring all the computers. Now what's Stefan?
Oh, well, you said you wanted me to look in to see if your friends truly left the game.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have their previous user data. So everything that they did up until a specific point, but eventually I do see that there is a forcible log-off command that was executed. So they are no longer connected to the system, whatever that means.
If it was that easy to get out, it just doesn't make any sense in my brain.
I mean, you said they took some sort of deal?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what was the deal?
She lets them get out in exchange for them getting out of her way.
Oh, that makes sense.
And she just lets them go?
Oh, it looks like it, yeah. If they were interfering with her work, she's an individual who prides her research and her accomplishment over all else. So if something's impeding that, she probably would just let them leave. It's like if you had a really annoying employee on staff and they really didn't do any work, and honestly, if anything, you constantly had to go double back over them to make sure that their work was getting done. You just fire them, right? And then they're no longer in your way. And if they want to be fired, it's even better.
But she's not firing people. She's trapping people for a reason. And then assuming this reason is whatever this Atlas thing.
Sure, but clearly, whatever benefit the rest of your guild was providing the Project Atlas was far outweighed by the inconvenience and the potential threat that they posed to the project.
Yeah, duh. She went after us after we finally got basically an item that might actually help us defeat her. Wait a minute. Why would that make her nervous? I don't know. What do you think happens when we shut down the servers?
Well, all we're going... So, basically, the servers are running on an internal network scheme that's completely closed out from the rest of the world. Think about it like you're playing couch co-op with your friends, except you're playing couch co-op with your closest 10,000 friends on the same couch.
Mm-hmm.
You're not connected to the internet. You're offline. Everything's running on one designated internal system. If something goes wrong with that internal system, someone externally is going to have to get connected in to repair it. That was kind of the whole hope of destroying the servers, is once that external connection is established, individuals from the outside world would be able to notice that external connection and be able to locate where we are and how to free us.
So we don't want to destroy the servers. We want to put them back online.
We're going to do that by causing enough of a problem that maintenance has to be performed.
Oh. Yeah, that does work.
Also, the other thing about servers, right, is like no smart person's going to run their entire system off of one hard drive. It's going to probably have like some sort of backup RAID configuration. So like even if the user data is destroyed in one chamber, it still exists in another chamber.
Thus the file room.
Inefficacy. And also, you have no idea if that's the only file room that ever exists. We don't know if this is the only server compound that exists. But it should be an important enough server compound, because this is where Camille primarily operates, that if it were to be destroyed, that maintenance would be performed.
Has anyone ever fought Camille?
No! Why would they?
I'm just thinking out loud here. I mean, you started out as an admin too, right?
Yes.
And you're still kind of an admin, right?
Sure.
But you can't cheat to get yourself things that you haven't achieved in game. Like, you know, the skill points or spell slots or stuff like that.
Inefficacy. Those were the restrictions placed on all the administrators. They were given a designated zone and task to observe to make sure that it ran smoothly.
And you have to get into combat to be able to, you know, boost your XP and be able to, you know, expand what you can and cannot do.
Right.
So either A, Camille has not had a lot of combat and is using a lot of her server tricks and mind tricks to win a lot of things, or B, she did that to just, you know, gain a lot of EXP in combat. Just seems weird that nobody's ever seen her fight.
Again, why would she need to? She really hasn't been ever threatened or put in a set of circumstances where she would be required to fight. She's just a researcher working on whatever this Project Atlas was.
Just a researcher that literally imprisoned thousands of people against their will.
Well, yeah, that's cheaper than, like... Okay, so if you're going to run and operate a research project, are you going to, A, just wait to see if you can get a large enough sample size of free volunteers that would be willing to participate in the program? B, pay people to participate in your program, potentially sinking millions of dollars into funding and research? Or C, get people really excited via the wonders of marketing to pay you to be in your research project? Honestly, it's a genius marketing scheme. It's honestly not entirely dissimilar to things like Bookface, Gram Insta, all of those where they farm user data. People willingly participate in these.
Yeah, that's the difference. Willingly. And when she talked about it a little before, she mentioned something about needing, like, the amount of stress your brain feels to accurately map. She needs people in heightened conditions for heightened emotions or something.
Okay, that would make sense then why you would trap someone.
But you can get those readings without trapping people.
Can you? How? You think people will just
letting them play the game? People's natural adrenaline will already kick in. If it's already feeling like a life or death situation, even if you know it's a virtual, it doesn't matter. You still get that thrill. It's why gamers love the game. I'm not much of a gamer. I came here to escape, and instead I was trapped.
Everyone reacts to stimuli differently. You're not only going to be getting feelings of excitement or pain, but in so being trapped, you may get other emotions as well. Despair, hopelessness, depression. You need a large array of emotion.
Yeah. It's hard to have people stay in a game that makes them depressed. But, like...
Except League of Legends.
So what's the plan? Mess up a little bit of the servers? Wait for Camille to come down and fix them? Or...
Yeah, I suppose that
have to get there first.
Right. We'd have to know the access codes to the server. Where'd the people go?
What?
The people that were here that we could have interrogated for information?
Well, we put them in the bag. The bag of... Well, we've knocked out a couple of people. We have to have somewhere to put them.
In the bag.
Can you take one of them out? Let's try.
I don't think it was to give people up.
What do you mean, Crystal?
It doesn't seem to wanna.
What is that? You can't get them back out of the bag?
Well, last time I tried, it got kind of angry and it bit me.
Is that a bag of devouring?
What? I mean, it holds all my stuff. I found it on the 10th floor.
You gotta be kidding me, Gosh.
I think, Sal gave it to me.
She did come back, but in a different way.
Why do you think I've been asking for a perception check every time she's put a person in the bag?
I had a feeling.
Sorry, so what were the two Arcana checks?
His was 20, mine was 34.
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
So, Zana, you are able to determine, based off of what you heard happen to Elias, that once a victim is consumed by the bag of devouring, they are in efficacy completely destroyed.
Well,
whether they were living or dead upon entry of the bag.
Oh, we are not getting those people back. It's a good thing some of them were NPCs.
Well, see, now we don't have to worry about anyone finding them.
And now we don't have anyone to interrogate.
All right. What are those codes we got?
Well, we have the dorm room and the machine room that we still haven't visited.
The mechanic shop. I'd rather not go into, a facility that has a multitude of people that are supposed to be there.
Well, in all fairness, it is daytime right now, so most people should be working. The only individuals who would probably be in the dormitory are those who are on the night shift.
Okay, so people who are resting?
So everyone should be asleep in the dorms.
How is that going to help? Why don't we just, take somebody who's napping, swipe them into a closet, go, hey, tell us the code to the super secret server room. And then they go, I don't know that code. I'm just Jim from accounting. What do we want to do,
That sounds like a pretty good idea.
Well, we only have a couple more minutes, presumably, before our other team finishes their goal. We need to finish ours. If you guys want to go to the dorms, I guess we can go to the dorms.
Stefan, do you know what is in the mechanic room?
Probably whatever they have been working on as of late. So it's portion of it is utilized to maintain the robots within the facility. And then the other section would be for our research and development. So there could be something of use there, but it could also be nothing.
The mechanic room, does that have all the generators for the power for this facility and all that?
I don't believe the power system is housed internally in the facility, no.
Darn. Well, we better get a move on. I walk up to the door.
Jim sounded relatable.
The gym?
Yeah, we're going to go find Jim. He's sleeping, and then we're going to knock him out and ask him where the server room is.
Well, if we are going into the dorm, I should probably be a little more prepared in case we do encounter some people.
I would hope there's people there. That's kind of the whole point. What if there was no one there?
I have a few spells I'd like to cast. Magic Vestments. +3 to my armor.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so I just have leather armor. I could use some magical vestments. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, I could just base leather armor.
Alright, well I will use my,
Wait, base leather? We had a master blacksmith. You're telling me you didn't even get masterwork leather armor?
Look, I don't...
Did you just, not talk to anyone in the guild?
I talk to people all the time. I just don't
About, their professions and lives and what they do for a living?
Yes, but I don't necessarily asking things of people because then I feel like I'll be expected to adhere to those things. They ask something of me.
All right, la-ti-da, ladies and gentlemen. Does this mean we're ready to go now?
I think so. And I shall type in the code 3676.
and the portal lights up, a ominous green aura, and you all step through. And as you enter, you see a large U-shaped room adjoined to another seemingly similar room off to the right-hand side, and it just is lined with bunk beds, and they seem to have closets and drawers all around the place. And it seems as if there are a couple of people attempting to sleep, but off in the distance you hear a conversation. But it seems like they're trying to be quiet about it.
I put my finger up to my lips and motion for my party members to try and stay quiet.
You got it. Quiet as a mouse.
I cast invisibility and go closer.
Closer where?
Closer to the conversation that is whispering. I would like to eavesdrop.
Casting invisibility, you silently begin creeping your way around the corner to the other area, and you see that there is a very similar setup as if the rooms are almost mirrored on either side, but they did this to increase the number of beds that they could fit into the facility. And you see that there are two individuals up by the far wall that have bunks adjacent to one another, and they are currently whispering. Please roll a perception check. And how close would you get to them?
I'd get about 5 feet from them.
You'd have to walk around the corner further into the room.
31 on my perception.
Do you think we're actually going to get everything done by the deadline? I mean, it's possible, but 2 months left? I don't know if we have enough data. Oh, we might have to ramp up some of the tests we're doing then. Change around the environment a little. Increase exposure. I mean, wanted to avoid that if possible, but doesn't look like we had the testing size that we anticipated. They seem to be chatting about the work that they are currently doing.
I'm certain I can use this in some way, but I don't know how.
And as you're thinking, you hear a toilet flush and a door open. The guy just comes walking out.
See, this is what I was afraid of.
Most of us have lab outfits now.
Guy just walks up to the water cooler and starts getting water.
So is he in the same room as me?
Yep. He's currently facing away from you, facing the water cooler right now.
Oh, shit, guys, don't look over there. If we can see him, he can probably see us.
I'm gonna ventriloquism for the guy at the water cooler.
Sure.
And make it sound like he does a... to get the attention of the two people in bed?
Okay.
Not quite sure where I'm going with this. I don't want them to pay attention to us.
You see the two people who are intimately locked in conversation with one another now divert their gaze from what they were doing and look over to the guy at the water cooler who turns absolutely beet red. Guys, I swear that wasn't me. God, Jeffrey, you just came out of the bathroom. Get your ass back in there. No, it was... But he just like rushes in and... bang, you just hear a stall close.
Mission accomplished. I didn't do this.
So there is it, Jeff.
I'll walk back over to my compatriots.
Okay.
And whisper, I got information. Let's go somewhere else.
I mean, did we want to try and get any codes? Some sleeping people over there.
Do you want to grab a sleeping person and take them with us?
No, I was just going to like rummage through their things.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that what your class is good at? One of the things?
I have like half of my invisibility left. I will check some of the belongings of the people who are sleeping. I would like to instruct Stefan, however, to stay by the door ready to enter in the code.
I mean, like, literally anyone can do that. Shouldn't I, like, keep an eye on the guy who's, like, probably checking his underwear right
Crystal, you stay here.
Shouldn't I get ready to stab the guy?
Okay, I'm gonna go find it.
You see his Crystal pulls out 2 daggers and is holding them over her head and is walking over to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Stefan pulls out 2 pistols and is shimmying against the wall and just eyeing at the door.
I just wanted to make sure we had an escape route, okay?
Don't worry, Zana. I got yous. Lucian, you were paying attention to the codes, right?
Oh yes, I have them all locked away.
But, like, accessibly locked away.
Oh yes, very much so.
And Zana, you begin making your way, moving over to the sleeping individual on the cot. It looks like he just has a lab coat on.
I would like to be stealthy, obviously. Would you like me to stealth and sleight of hand?
Yes, that would be great.
51 on my stealth check?
Because you have
Your
invisibility.
Yeah.
Oh.
Invisibility is a plus 20.
And that is a 27 for my sleight of hand. Come on, you gotta have something useful here.
And you see that there is a slip of paper with a bunch of codes.
Oh, sweet.
You see that there is a code 2233. You see that there is a code 3676. You see that there is a code 36868. There is a code 766622. And lastly, there is a code that is 6707666.
I take my slip of paper and I look at my team.
Grog actually did kind of meander over to this other wardrobe, and he found a bag of chips. He's kind of just crunching on them.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
And he just, like, tosses the bag. The guy that you stole the slip of paper from kind of turns.
I don't want to get up yet. 5 more minutes.
It's okay. You can have 5 more minutes.
Oh, thank you. I'll consider it.
And he just rolls over to the other side. And as you are doing that, you actually hear as the door to the bathroom begins to open back up.
Good news, guys. I didn't shit my pants.
The guy walks out from the bathroom.
I will go over to the door and touch Lucian's shoulder. It's time to go. Quick.
You see as the guy steps out from the bathroom, Stefan just shoots him with a tranquilizer dart.
Where was that when we kept eating people with a bag?
Oops, daisy. Looks like it's time to go.
We haven't gone to 6707666. I love all these 666s. Well, we won't know until we try. I punch in the code.
And you enter into what appears to be a used operating room.
Oh.
It seems as if whoever was here rushed out in a hurry, as there are no doctors, no body, but there is still fresh blood on the sheets. And it seems like there's a biohazard waste bin off in the corner, which may have some contents. There seems to be a number of computer and monitoring systems set up in this room, as well as some paper documentation and a chart.
I would like to pick up the chart.
It seems as if there are a lot of technical and medical terms on this chart, so you would need a heal or medicine check in order to decipher really what you're looking at.
Crystal, you're a nurse trainee doctor of sorts, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
You have something to do with the medical field?
I certainly do.
31 for Lucian's heal check.
So, Lucian, you are kind of peering over. You are able to tell that what is written down is pertaining to neurological brainwaves, as it seems as if they are attempting to map out the human brain. What's happening, though, is they're running into complications where accelerated brain activity is causing cellular degeneration. And what you can tell based on the contents of the trash can is the cellular degeneration is causing brain tumors to grow, and it's inevitably killing the subjects.
Lucian will inform his teammates. It seems like due to the acceleration of brain function, it causes it to also produce tumors rather rapidly.
Zana, roll a perception check for me.
33 for a total of my perception.
You aren't medically savvy, but something you are noticing as Lucian and Crystal were kind of flipping through the paperwork, there is one thing that remained consistent on every single page. It seems as if there was a watermark left, and it is an icon of a snake eating its own tail.
Uh-oh, Camille. Did you give me your real life information? Logos are easy to look up. I don't know if we have time for that. We barely have time as is. It's running out. Quickly.
I mean, we haven't really tried interrogating anyone to see what information they know.
You know what? Why don't we grab someone from the dorm and bring them here?
I mean, we certainly could try that.
Everybody else wait here. Stefan, you want to help me grab someone?
Well, on one hand, fewer people is less noticeable. On the other hand, if we get separated and for some reason fail, they have no way of knowing that.
I guess we're gonna good old-fashioned kidnap somebody. I'd like the whole party to follow behind us as we go into the dorms. I will punch in the code to the dormitories.
So you all enter in, and the individuals who were sleeping by the entranceway do not appear to be there anymore. But you hear more of a commotion on the other side of the facility.
But there's like nobody in this one?
The same guy that you told to go back to sleep for 5 more minutes.
I would like to peer over.
Peer over, what, to go closer to the individual who's sleeping?
No. To the other side where we hear the commotion.
Okay. All right. Roll stealth.
It's a 30 on stealth.
The 2 individuals who were previously having a conversation stood back observing as a lady in a lab coat and a gentleman are currently observing the individual who was tranquilized by Stefan as this individual is now laying down on a bed.
Can I go ventriloquism again?
Sure. Casting from where?
Behind, so it pulls their attention directly away from where we are.
The unconscious individual is currently laying down on a bed, somewhat in the center of the room. So you are attempting to cast your voice on the opposite end of the room.
I'll create a distraction. Under that bed, I'd like it to sound like a...
So the individual who's currently laying on the bed and 3 of the people observing all kind of like turn and look to the sneeze, but this one lab tech actually turns around and notices you. Wait, over here! And as she says that, Stefan shoots her with a tranquilizing dart. But the other 3 all do then pay attention as they were directed and take a look at you. Everyone sees both of you at this point. All 3 of them get shot with tranquilizer darts, but the one guy all the way in the back is able to kind of quickly duck behind one of the other people, using them kind of as a human shield. And then you hear from the other side of the room, what was that?
Oh yeah, that guy.
We got a conscious one!
The individual who's currently hiding behind their unconscious compatriot shouts, Armando! Sound the alarm!
Get him.
All right, Lucian, you see that the individual who was very soundly sleeping in the corner has woken up as 3 bodies kind of just hit the floor and made a loud crashing sound.
I'll use one of my casts of Command Grader.
So what is the command?
Halt!
The command seems so powerful that this sleeping individual looks like he's about to fall off the bed to go reach for something, and then he just freezes in place.
Wow, that worked really well.
I got him.
And Grog starts running over. The other individuals temporarily have collapsed to the ground, but the one person who dodged all the tranquilizer darts is running for an object in their back.
I would like to cut him off.
Let's everybody then roll initiative.
All right.
Surprise rounds are up.
Lucian's initiative is 21.
Azana's initiative is 26.
With that, you are top of the round.
My immediate action would be to try and get a hold of him somehow.
All right, so how do you want to go about doing that? You are about 40 feet away from him right now.
As I'm walking towards him, I mage hand the blanket from the bed behind him, trying to toss the blanket over him and kind of make it hug him. And would it be possible to have Alistair come off of my shoulder and create a double image of me?
Yeah, sure. Larry boy! Lucian, it's your turn.
You guys seem like you have the other guy handled. I think Lucian will just delay his turn.
Okay. The individual who is currently entangled by the blanket is struggling in order to get out of it.
Wasn't expecting that. Haha.
And I'm sure that you weren't expecting this. The guy just pulls out a gun from inside his lab coat and shoots you. Take 9 damage.
Ow!
That is his turn. What was the DC for your command grader?
24.
It seems as if he was initially frozen, but then he does collapse to the ground. Base rolls off the bed and is scrambling on the ground and reaching into his bag currently. And just grabs a walkie-talkie and says, "Code red in the dormitories!"
I don't like alarms, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people coming through this portal right behind me in about 2 seconds.
So Crystal just runs over and stealths and hides in some bunk beds.
Am I still by the portal?
You are still by the portal.
Could I take my turn after this since I delayed mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to punch in the code for the file room. I'm just going to try and keep it activated at the file room.
And Grog is going to run up and he just straight up tackles the individual who is currently on the ground. Would you like to control Grumble?
I can. He's going to down a potion and use Enlarge Person on self.
The lab tech who was initially tranquilized upon attempting to exit the bathroom It seems as if the tranquilizer is starting to wear off, and he starts stirring on the cot.
Oh, what's going on? Oh my, whoa! Who are these people?
It seems as if he reaches for his gun. Groggy individual who's just waking up does try and shoot at one of the 2 Zanas that are staring there, but shoots wildly to the left of where Alistair currently is. The bullet just actually dinks off one of the bedposts. And Zana, it's your turn.
The old rhino and run. You know what? I'm doing it. It's the old rhino and run. I will summon 1d4 of rhinos, and I'm booking it. After I back up, I'd like to summon them right there.
Okay, fair enough.
Right around there.
As we're running away, you use Summon Nature's Ally to summon a crash of rhinos.
Holy shit, that's a rhino! Actually, that's a crash of rhinos. There's multiple of them.
As a crash of rhinos is summoned beside this individual, they kind of come to and are more alert. But nonetheless, it looks like this guy pulls out what looks to be a rapier from underneath his wrap coat and like tries to pierce at the rhino, and it just sticks into his hide. Shit. And he turns and he runs and climbs up on a bed. Lucian, you are frantically punching in codes as the pin pad is annoyed. It is irate at you because every time the portal begins to manifest and you see it flicker, you hurriedly punch in the shortest code you know to overwrite it, and it just keeps spazzing out and it says error, error, error. But it does seem like you are successfully locking it out for the time being. But is there anything else that you would like to do?
Well, not really. I'm waiting for them to get back to me so we can get out.
Right. Lab Tech D, do be waking up. Also jumps on a bed and casts gun at one of the rhinos. See as the bullet does pierce its hide and it cries out in a rage and a fury. But with that, it is the crash of Rhino's turn.
So this rhino in the back corner, seeing that its brethren are there, it charges around its brethren up towards the beds.
And you see is they're just barely out of reach. The rhinos do have something known as a powerful charge. You see as on this side, the rhino just swings around, charges, absolutely crashes through this metal bed frame. You see as the beam like actually breaks in half, and now the bed is leaning slanted on one side, and both of the laboratory staffs are kind of like sliding down as it's kind of now like a 45-degree angle.
Very nice.
Bed frame's absolutely completely obliterated, and the poor scientist on top, oh god no! As you see as metal bits fly everywhere, and this lab tech frantically like jumps down, barely dodging out of the way. So it looks like everyone is very hurriedly casting gun. However, the one lab technician who was entangled in the blanket actually has managed to free himself and steps over to his bag. He grabs for the walkie-talkie and says,
General Roland, we need you here stat!
For real?
And it seems as if he grabs something else from his bag.
It's time to book it. Everybody, it's time to book it. And get out of here.
Stefan sees what's going on in that room and just casually walks away and wants absolutely nothing to do with that and begins making his way to the portal.
So, like, someone's gonna come through that portal, right? Or, like, are we trying to just get out of here?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, that works for me!
And Crystal runs up as well.
Guys, I think I've got him, but he's a little bit of a struggler.
And Grog is moving at half speed, making his way back as he drags this kidnapped individual at this point. It sounds as if there's just so much gun being cast on the other side of the room.
Guys, is there anything I should do?
And you see there's just like this big bouldering bumbus of Grundle Clomwich.
I was going to say, Grundle takes some initiative here. He pulls out an elixir, drinks it down for a second. He runs up to the hallway right behind Zana, and he's going to use adhesive spittle and spit.
And it lands and splashes right behind Zana, kind of like nipping at her heels a little bit. Meanwhile, Alistair is attempting to just fly over all of this and regroup with you. Grouse! Lucian, as you're constantly fighting with this control pad and it keeps just erroring out, eventually you see as the portal flickers with a sparking aura. Instead of its standard green hue that it is, you now see purple flicks of light emitting. And it just says, panel override. A dark steel bionic arm breaches through the portal and crushes the frame as it pulls itself through. Silver hair peeking into view as it enters with dense metallic footsteps. The shadowy figure ducks under the gateway until you can clearly identify the individual as General Roland. Unique, though, from the last time you encountered him, he is still wearing his familiar long black officer's coat, but this time you notice a red, radiating core at the center of his chest.
Well then, fancy seeing you all here.
And behind Roland, spilling out, you do see mechanical soldiers with red glowing eyes. They almost crawled from between the crevices, squeezing in between the characters, and then just reorient and adjust themselves until they're fully standing at a solid 6 feet tall. They are made out of this black-green metal, but they have a radiating red eye, which seems to be scanning the room.
And we have not heard a distant explosion yet.
Not heard a distant explosion yet, no.
Dang.
Well, if General Roland's here, then I'm getting out of here.
All of the lab techs teleport out. And you are able to notice that in the top left-hand corner of your screen, where you see that active player count to start the world event, that it has decreased by 4 individuals. But it is Zana's turn.
Oh, nice of you to join us. I almost think it would be better for me to delay my turn right now.
Is there a specific spot in the turn order that you would like to delay to?
Till after Roland.
Okay. And it is some of these confused rhinos' turns as individuals just vanish from in front of them, as they are no longer there.
All right.
It steps behind Zana to see what the hell is going on in the other room.
Delicious. You see as the general tosses back his cloak, revealing a large greatsword, which he grasps firmly with 2 hands, swinging it overhead, and as he does, it begins to radiate this similar red energy until he cleaves down in front of him, and a giant plasma beam just scorches through in a straight line. I am going to need Lucian, Stefan, Grundle, Zana, the Rhino, and Alistair to all roll a reflex save.
That's a 26 total for my reflex.
That is a 14 total for reflex for Lucian.
Alistair's saving throw was 21.
This red, scorching plasma beam blasts emanating, and you can feel as the energy just pulsates through. Stefan and Grundle are able to dodge out of the way, only barely getting clipped. Zana, your reflexes are so astoundingly astute. You are able to react in the fraction of a second, almost at the speed of the light of this lance, and you completely dodge out of the way. However, as you dodge, you see that others were not so lucky. Everyone who's going to be taking full damage, which is going to be Lucian, the Rhino, and Alistair, you are all going to take 67 damage.
Alistair is dead. He is disintegrated.
And you can see as your Eidolon, in the blink of an eye, fades from existence.
I feel a lack of connection, like my other senses have been dulled. Oh, that did way more than I thought it would.
You do see, however, after this attack, that it looks like the energy from the blade has dissipated, and it looks like there's a little charge gauge that is slowly creeping back up. And he's going to take a menacing step forward. That'll be the end of his turn. Zana! You.
All I need is one rhino. A big woolly, because all I want is to push him through that door. I am going to summon a single woolly rhinoceros.
Is there anything you'd like to do with your movement? Or do you just want to kind of stay here behind your nice, juicy meat shield Grundle?
I'd like to move into the room that has General Roland and the other people in it.
Moving around the corner, you push past Grundle and you slink to the side so that you are deeper in the room with the portal, but you are still within line of sight of all of the enemies. As you have summoned a giant woolly rhinoceros now into the fray, all of the robots turn to face it and pull out their blaster rifles and just start shooting at it. Stefan retreats, trying to then lay down some suppressive fire, but as he does, his gun misfires, and you see as the muzzle of the firearm actually just splinters and kind of like ruptures outward, and the metal fractures. And Esmeralda now has the broken condition. Esmeralda! No! You've been so faithful for so long.
We both lost someone faithful today.
Crystal jumps up in the air and yells, "Sneak attack!" and just digs both of her daggers into Roland's back. "Crystal, I'm coming down!" And you see as Grog sees that Crystal is attacking Roland, and he just pulls out this massive great hammer, runs up to where these two robots are, does a wide cleaving swing of his great hammer to hit both targets. This hammer crushes through the side of one of them, continues to graze through, and then bangs into the side of the other one. And both of them get hit for massive damage. And then it is Lucian's turn.
All right, Lucian's going to use 15 feet of dimensional hop, and then I'm going to cast Raider Curse on Roland.
Lucian, blinking backwards, vanishes from sight, and then begins channeling Debilitating Curse.
24 to hit.
Well, that certainly hits.
26 will to survive.
He does not succeed on his will save, so what curse are you applying to him?
Best one probably for us is that he has only a 25% chance to actually act normally on his turn.
So I did roll because he's going to be utilizing his turn economy immediately, as you have cast a spell within melee reach of him, which does provoke an attack of opportunity. Roland slashes out against you, and you are going to take 14 slashing damage. But it does seem as if this curse is binding him and restraining his actions.
Did it act? So I did move, right?
On your turn, you cursed him, touching General Roland, and then after it succeeded, though he got a petty slash back in retaliation, you were able to use your cleric domain to blink out without provoking another attack of opportunity. Grundle downs a potion, and you see as his skin becomes earthy and stone-like, and it increases his natural resistance. Grundle comes up, just smacking his fists together.
It's clobbering time!
The rhinos have moved up to their movement and have joined fray. So these robots that Grog hit, they are in efficacy stormtroopers, as they pulled out their rifles and just started blasting wildly, and all of their laser beams just absolutely avoid the rhinoceros if at all possible. It is Roland's turn, and he already rolled his percentile, so this is one of the few turns that he is going to be able to act. You see as Roland releases his two-handed grip on his greatsword, and you see as one of his hands morphs and transforms into a chain gun.
Oh, yeah.
And he just does a suppressive fire just in a massive cone, completely disregarding the fact that his own foot soldier robots are in the way. He just shoots at everyone indiscriminately. The suppressive fire comes out, and it deals 33 damage to everyone in that cone, which is everyone. And you see as he completely tears through and guns down his own foot soldiers, and they both die instantly. Another one of the rhinos died.
33, I end up being -4, but that will trigger my ability, Reactive Healing. I can expend one use of channel energy as immediate action to heal myself.
Go ahead and roll that. You heal for 14, so you're going to be at 10 HP.
My goodness, that was so many ones. Wow.
And you see as Roland, as one last action, his hand retransforms into a hand, and he just grabs at his back and just grabs at Crystal, who's still up there, and just throws her through the portal.
Oh, great!
But with that, it is Zana's turn.
I am going to drink a potion of Cure Serious Wounds.
And you see as the restorative energy heals you for 22 HP. Your woolly rhinoceros just charges from across the room, crashes in, and it seems to push Roland back ever so slightly, but doesn't seem to actually be able to break his thick exoskeleton.
Esmeralda. Well, damn it, Shafara, this is all your fault. Make better guns.
Tosses Esmeralda to the side. Famous! As he fires off 3 volleys of bullets. One of them does dink off, but the other 2 break in and dent into Roland's thick metal side. Grog is going to run over to the robot that looks like it's aiming a gun to shoot the rhino in the back, and he just runs up with his hammer, just overhead slams it into the ground.
That rhino's my friend, I think.
Yep.
All right, good. I'm glad I got that one right.
Lucian, it is your turn.
All right. He's going to use Quick Channel, which allows him to use Channel Energy as a move action. Lucian does much better this time with his healing because he's not dying, and gets 32 healing for all of his allies.
Wow, and him, right?
Yeah, and him.
Oh, thank goodness.
The spell he will be using is Blessing of Fervor. All my allies can choose one of the following thing at the start of their turn, which is either increase their speed by 30, stand up as a swift action without provoking an attack of opportunity, make one extra attack as part of a full attack action, gain a +2 bonus on attack rolls and a +2 bonus on dodge, AC, and then reflex, or cast a single spell of level 2 or lower as if it were enlarged, extended, silent, or skill spell. So they get to choose one of those options on their turn.
Very nice. All right, everyone has been blessed with some fervor. Grundle just crashes into Roland, and Roland and him kind of like lock hands until eventually Grundle just crumples Roland's metallic hands. You see as they crack and bend backwards, and then he literally just heaves the general off his feet, pulling him closer, and then throws him up against the wall.
It's clobbering time.
At the top of the round, you hear what almost sounds like a high-pitched screech coming over the loudspeakers. It almost sounds like static mixed with a scream. And you can feel as each of your minds are touched.
Even with our special thingy things on?
Thankfully, for those of you wearing a headband, you are unaffected. However, for everyone else, I will need you to roll a will save, which is just going to be Lucian.
Wait, that's a low well. Oh, that's a 27.
Lucian, with the chaos of this combat, you have let down your mental guard. And you feel as if this voice is able to slip through the cracks, as you are now under the effect of Gia's quest. The command is, kill the intruders. Zana, strangely, you see as the light in both the woolly rhinoceroses and the remaining rhino's eyes seem to flicker red. This frequency seems to be affecting them as they then turn to face your party. The regular rhino that still remains is at the top of the round, so it is going to attack the nearest thing, which would be Stefan. Stefan has to nimbly dodge out of the way before he gets struck by this rhino's gore attack as it charges at him, but barrels completely past.
Is the thing still screeching up top?
You just hear static. You see as Roland seems staggered. He's kind of pinned up against this wall by Grundle, but more than that, it seems as if he's unable to move. So it is actually Zana's turn.
I will desummon the woolly rhino, as I can see they're no longer in my control. I wanted to reposition, behind Lucian.
The rhino attempts to gore Stefan as he's running into the other room, but whiffs wildly as it is swinging around, attacking on a blind rage. But Stefan was able to successfully turn around the corner, getting a little bit of cover and some safety, and begins rapidly repairing his gun, attempting to fix Esmeralda.
Lucian, buddy, calm down now. It's all right. We're all friends here.
He's looking very conflicted, as if he's not sure what to do. What he ends up doing is he's going to charge the rhino.
Bad rhino! Get back to your senses!
Grog bonks the rhino over its head, but it still seems plenty healthy. Lucian, it is your turn.
He probably will blink into the corner. So between the two beds, he'll be casting, spells from a distance next.
You see as Grundle grabs Roland by the arm, puts him in an armbar, and slams him up against the wall, crushing his face right into the metal frame. The Rhinoceros is going to gore attack Grog. However, it does not miss, and Grog just instead grabs the rhino by the horn and shakes him around a little, disorienting the rhino. But at the top of the round, Lucian, roll another will save.
That is a total of 39 will save.
You hear the screeching over the loudspeaker, as it seems as if it was going to issue you a new command. But you have now put up your mental barriers, and while you are still under the effect of the first Chaos quest, you feel like you have resisted a second one. You see as General Roland fires up his jet boots and just starts to fly across the room. Grundle Klama just trying to hold on for dear life, but then slams into Grog halfway through. And you see as Roland flies all the way across the room and is now in between Zana and Lucian. And he just looks back to Lucian.
Heal me.
You can hit him with a melee weapon if you want. He did just exit your contested square.
I would like to try and hit him. Ew. I think I
Your
might miss.
daggers just scrape off of his thick exoskeleton. So you see General Roland just rocket propulsion over to Lucian, and you kind of try and get like a little panic slice out with your dagger, but then you realize, oh wait, I can hit him and he's going to absolutely clobber me. So you use this opportunity, triggering your daggers of black sand to dissipate into a cloud of smoke and rematerialize on the other side of the room, kind of hiding behind the insulary wall. And with that, it is Zana's turn.
Okay. Can I head through the door? I don't see much other for Zana to do here. I don't have any more summon monsters. My summon monsters aren't really helpful right now.
Seeing the bloodied battlefield of machine and rhino corpses, knowing that your compatriot has been mind-controlled and that the general still seems raring and ready to go, low on spell slots, you're not quite sure what you can do here. So you dash through the portal, and you make it to the server room. And you see, as Camille Lysimus is waiting for you on the other side. Well, Zana. Quite an admirable attempt.
I mean, at least you think I'm admirable.
Rachel, since you're kind of in a new area, I'm going to pause this here, and we're going to get back to Jonathan and the others as they're still going to be in combat. And we are going to re-roll initiative.
Lucian's initiative is 16.
It's going to be Stefan first. Stefan taking the better half of his turn to repair Esmeralda before running around the corner to survey the current state of the combat, turns to see General Roland boxing in Lucian between this set of bunk beds, but it seems as if the two are not antagonistic towards one another. General Roland is going to lay down some suppressive fire with his arm, which then transforms into a chain gun once again, and he's just going to make a single chain gun attack at everyone in the area, absolutely littering the wall behind them with bullet holes. With that, it is now Lucian's.
Lucian, with his, new objective that he has to do, heal, channel energy, and healed Roland for 26.
So you attempt to cast Channel Positive Energy in an attempt to heal, but you had no way of knowing this. This man is not only a cyborg, but an undead vampire cyborg.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, Lucian, again, he...
attempting to help.
Attempting to help and heal, did positive energy, and healed Roland for 26. It was very healthy.
Very, very helpful. As you see, as the positive energy actually begins to singe what little remaining exposed flesh he has, and you end up damaging him instead.
Damn it, you fool.
You also heal for that 26. So make sure because it's channel positive energy. So make sure you heal yourself. And
He did say, heal me, don't, harm me.
Well, I mean, bad instructions, I guess.
Lucian will then end his turn after that.
You see as Grundle Clomwich goes and grabs a vial from his waistband and chucks it in the general direction of Roland and shouts, "Take this!" And you see as this flask dinks to the side, but then as it hits the ground, a massive explosion, knocking him off his feet, and you see he falls unconscious.
Wow, really?
Okay, so he had 50 HP remaining when you healed him.
That's why he needed you to heal
That's
him,
that's why he needed you to heal him. And with that, between 26 damage and 28 damage, he is now in the negatives. Now, Grog, he is going to full sprint, jump over Roland, land in front of you. How does your CMD look against a 52?
Oh, it doubles mine, basically.
Okay. So you are not going anywhere. You are locked in, brother. Then, Lucian, it is your turn, but you are aggressively pinned.
So, Lucian tried to escape by dimension hopping away, but unfortunately he tried, and it just wasn't quite there on a 38.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on whose side you're rooting for, your body kind of begins to shift per dimension door, but then as it does, and you're trying to focus on transmitting yourself to a new location, you just feel as Grog squeezes tighter and just like squeezes the life out of you. You're like gasping for air and you can't think straight.
Nope, you're staying with me, buddy.
Grundleclomwich is going to down a health potion and heal himself before proceeding forward. Grog is going to maintain the grapple. What is your CMD?
My CMD, 24.
Grog rips off your headband of mental prowess, tossing it to the side as he keeps you pinned in an armbar with his other arm. Meanwhile, Stefan comes up, running, leaps over and slides in between the bunk beds so that he is directly next to you. And he goes and he takes off his own headband of anti-mind control and puts it atop Lucian's head. And that cures you of your Gia's quest.
Oh, wow.
Oh. And you see the unconscious body of General Roland laying singed, burned on the ground.
Well, I'm certainly glad my trying to help him kind of backfired. That could have been bad.
I'm just glad it's all over with. All right, well, we're down 2 party members already. I think they went into the next area. We may need to back them up.
First off, here, have my spare.
Oh, thank you. Don't want to run into that situation again.
And Lucian will obviously pick up his headband of mental prowess.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, buddy. Just glad you're my friend again.
This portal is getting ready to close, so it's kind of a now or never. Oh, do we want to heal before we run in there?
Oh, yeah. Are you all damaged?
I mean, I'm a little.
Yes, absolutely. Just a few bullet holes.
He'll cast one more positive energy. Healed for 30. Everyone heals for 31.
Roll a perception check.
It's 21.
Though it was not your intent, the radius of the channel energy is so large as you were attempting to heal all of your allies, and General Roland is such a large character, that you do actually end up clipping him some, and you see that his body still continues to singe a little bit more, just adding insult to that injury. But now, with all of that out of the way, we can finally get back over to Zana as you are encountering Camille Lysimus. You see that Crystal is currently captured by none other than Camille Lysimus, who is standing at the center of this server room. It appears as if behind Camille there is a large administrator console, and all around her, lining the walls on actually 2 separate floors, there are rows and rows of servers. Crystal is currently restrained in what seems to be almost wires and metal pipes, as if they are constricting around her.
What's her consciousness look like?
She seems to be fading in and out of consciousness. So she is grasping on for life.
Well, if it isn't Camille herself. Or, well, I would say in the flesh, but I think I know better than that.
I would hope so. We are in a game of virtual reality. I believe that this is a step in the direction of humanity's next evolution.
Oh, you got a lot of humanity on you, don't you? I wonder, how humane is it to trap thousands of people against their will? Which brings me to my next question, Camille. Exactly how many people have died during this little test of yours? Your little research?
In order for humanity to reach its glorious next step in evolution, some sacrifices may have to be
A
made.
number, Camille. You would have the data. How many? A number. I have a number. I want to see what you have.
A fraction of that which has been lost due to war, plague, starvation.
You don't even know, do you? Have you even checked?
Of course I know, but you wouldn't believe the answer.
Try me.
0.
So you mean to tell us you gave us all that stress and that none of it was real? You're innocent, blameless in this. Yeah?
Seeing as there are only 2 possible outcomes, to this interaction, I feel completely comfortable in entrusting you with this knowledge. We simply provided you the necessary information in order for you to have a genuine human reaction, as that is our goal, to better understand and analyze the extent and capacity of human emotions and brain function.
Does she know how many players have been quote-unquote eliminated?
You know that at the start of the game, somewhere between 5,000 to 6,000 people were on the initial launch of the game, and now there's only about 11 to 1,200 remaining.
Oh, 11 to 1,200.
So only 20% of the original individuals who started this game are still around.
So, no one has died, Camille. Where's the 5,000 players who are missing? Dissipated. You have their brains captive? Running another simulation? Are you letting them live out their trauma in the real life without actually waking them up?
Of what use would that be to me? Everyone has left the game.
But leaving the game doesn't mean waking up in the real world right now, does it?
If I said, yes, you could leave the game, would you even believe me? Is not so much of our enjoyment built on the suffering of others? War, disease, famine, illness, all of these things are symptoms. Symptoms of the current state of humanity. Through our glorious next evolution, we can ascend. How many lives are lost in this experiment compared to that of the wars in even just this past decade, not even considering the thousands of years of human civilization?
I know this is important to you. I know you think what you're doing is right.
Zana is expecting an explosion at some point, and at this point she's thinking, come on, guys, where are you? I'm in the server room. Where are you guys in the tower?
Zana definitely hits the transponder at some point during that conversation. I can roll stealth for that if you want.
Sure, yeah, please do.
As a 26 total for stealth.
You are having this intense conversation with Camille. You are somewhat panicked as you don't know if you would be able to rescue her captive, Crystal, and also damage the servers without something going wrong by yourself. Thankfully, you're not by yourself. And you have bought yourself enough time that you hear the portal behind you begin to stir. You see as Lucian, Grog, and Stefan walk through the portal backing you up, and right at the end you see like Grundle's hands like dig through the portal, and he's just barely able to squeeze through this 5 foot squares. He's still a large creature, and he just kind of still stumbles into the server room.
Looks like my friends are here.
You see as Stefan comes out, dual wielding his pistols. Lucian comes in, shield and warhammer at the ready, and Grog with this massive two-handed warhammer is now standing and ready, glancing over in your direction to see what the first move is.
It's demolition time.
Well then, much as you are not alone, neither am I.
This server room is 2 floors, and it seems, as all of you have entered into the room, that there are now 2 rows of robots on the second floor of the compound, and they all seem to be wielding the same laser guns that the ones that came in with Roland were armed with.
Zana sees this and just smiles.
I did say demolition time.
Alrighty, so with that, everyone is going to roll initiative.
Lucian's continuing the low rolls here. Got a 5, so he's a total of 9.
Total initiative of 21.
With that, Zana, you are actually the first in the turn order.
I'd really like to have both of my Hellfire Splash potions and toss them to the sides at the servers at the same time.
Yeah, you can make a full round ranged attack action, throwing each of the splash potions.
My first one is a 19, and my second one is a 25.
Very nice.
starting the combat off strong. And just as things get dicey with those robots, she tosses both potions at the corners of two of the servers, to her left and right.
And you see as massive explosions occur and the servers begin to catch on fire with this accelerant kind of burning away and melting the metal casings. And you hear Camille shriek. She is absolutely furious. So, as appropriately sci-fi themed with the litany of stormtroopers, just a absolute volley of lasers start flying in the direction of your party. And some of them do begin to clip you and actually damage you.
16 for my touch base AC.
14.
So after your actions, having thrown out your vials of Hellfire Tincture, exploding the servers, you see that all of the robots on the top floor turn and just start shooting a volley of lasers at you. Thus far, a number of them have missed, but some of them hit, dealing a total of 8 damage to Zana.
To me!
You see as Camille, enraged, drops Crystal, and you see her unconscious body just fall on the floor. The wires and metal beams no longer surrounding her, and she moves her hands to redirect some pipes towards the direction of the fire, and you see as a series of chemicals is spewed out in an attempt to douse these flames which are currently coating the servers. So, Lucian, you take a total of 18 damage as you see like 5 of these energy beams get shot at you, 2 kind of shoot on other side of you, landing at your feet, but a number of them do make contact and you feel as they singe through your skin. But, Lucian, it is your turn.
Lucian goes ahead and casts the spell Destruction on Camille. You ruined my life! Die! The DC is 23. It's a Fortitude save.
You cast this spell, and as this green necromantic energy goes and begins to melt her steely flesh, go ahead and roll 10d6 damage.
35 damage.
You see her flawless exterior scraped away. She was wearing this elegant white dress and cloak, and you see that half of her body is now, that clothing is in tatters, revealing this strangely metallic chrome skin. Grog, shoving Stefan and Lucian aside, runs up to Crystal and is currently holding her in his arms. Grundle throws 2 more of his own Hellfire Tinctures at the servers closest to you, blasting them, dealing some big explosion damage, but more importantly, also dealing the lingering fire damage as well. Stefan returns fire and strikes true, destroying one of the robots. But Lucian, you still end up taking 14 damage as you are still struck by a few plasma bullets. One of the robots actually leaps over the railing, drawing out its plasma sword and swings it at you. However, your magic is impeding it slightly, it seems. You are going to take another 5 damage from that energy sword. And with that, is the top of the round is on Xerxes Ion.
I'm going to cast Invisibility Greater. I'd like to make an attempt for the stairs that are closest.
The stairs closest to your right-hand side are about 25 feet away.
Okay, that is what I'd like to do after turning invisible.
All right, so you cast Greater Invisibility and you make a mad dash to your right-hand side, attempting to get up the stairs to the 2nd floor.
I would also like to stealth. I would like to make sure I'm trying to hide. As a 35 for my stealth check.
A blue shimmering veil kind of appears around Camille Lysimus, and also as 2 little robot arms flip up from her back and almost look like scorpion pincers, and they just start shooting lasers. So Lucian and Stefan, you are going to be taking... Stefan's going to take 4 fire damage, and you are going to take 5 fire damage. And this will be an additional D8 of burn at the top of every round. Crystal does still appear to be unconscious, but Lucian, it is your turn.
Lucian's going to cast Aura of Protection, +2 deflection AC, and then also gives a resistance 5 to all elements.
Oh, very nice.
And that's all of my allies within 30 feet of me.
It seems as if you are granting your entire party this deflection bonus, which is a huge assist for all of these gun-toting robots.
Where's Zana's character?
It seemed as if she vanished before your eyes, and you just heard little footsteps tapping off in a direction. Stefan quickly unloads 6 rounds in a flourish of motion, 2 in front, two above, two behind, and you see simultaneously a robot tumbles over the railing as another one on the base floor collapses to the ground, an oily substance pulling beneath them. A rain of plasma bullets continue to strike both at Lucian and Stefan. You each are going to take 9 damage. Grog is going to utilize his turn to move himself and Crystal away to safety, moving in between Lucian and Grundle, so that he's kind of tucked underneath the second level of the compound, and pull out a health potion out from his side and gives it to her so that she is healed. And you hear as Crystal gasps back to life. With that, it is Grundle's turn, and Grundle is going to use this opportunity to just march forth, running forward, and he goes and he chucks 2 more splash potions, setting the 2 servers on either side of Camille aflame.
Take this!
It is top of the round. Azan and Xerxes Zion, you are completely enshrouded in invisibility, stealthed, and now on the second row of servers, on the second floor. You see the fire, the flames are kind of licking the bottoms of these grates, and it is causing smoke to rise onto the second floor. But the servers themselves up here do seem to be fairly unscathed.
So, for Zana's turn, she pulls out Den's feather, something she's held onto for a moment just like this. And as she uses this item, she thinks back to when all of her friends in this received them together. As she looks around to the friends fighting with her now, not a single one of those people in sight. Why am I fighting? Who am I fighting for at this point? Me? These people? Am I trying to hold on to something that's already gone? And all I can think about is how much I hate that white-haired woman.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I used that to regain all of my spell slots.
You channel the energy emanating from this feather, and you feel as if a gust of wind lifts you, and you feel what is almost like the warm touch of the morning sun, and you feel completely rested. All of your magical capabilities come rushing back through your veins.
Woo, that's like 9 shots of espresso. Am I able to summon my monsters this turn as well?
It's a consumable. It's like taking a potion. It's just a potion of long rest and efficacy. So you still have a movement action if you would like to move somewhere. You have 30 feet of movement.
I say about there. That's good.
So you continue to sleuth about the second floor, sneaking right behind all of the war machine robots that are blasting your party down below, and you are deftly moving your way deeper into the compound. Camille speaks up, and it seems as if she is looking over in the direction of Grog. You know, it really is a shame that your so-called friends have left you in this state for so long. And you see she casts the spell. And you see Grog collapse. Crystal kind of falls onto the ground. Grog is on his knees, and he is grasping at his head. But as Camille finishes doing this, she seems to take a step back, moving behind a large table with a holographic crystal, and she seems to be moving in the direction of a giant computer in the back of the room. You see as Crystal begins to stir from her unconscious state, and she gets up from being prone, only to see that Grog is not faring any better than she was 30 seconds ago. As he is collapsed on the ground, she looks over him. What's going on? So Lucian, it is your turn.
Lucian will cast spell resistance on himself.
Okay. You see as Stefan does a tumble action and just rolls out of these robots' threatened area. And you see as he's rolling, it's just dual pistoling. The robot that was flanking him, he just nails a headshot, and you see this robot fall over dead. The robot closest to you, Lucian, is going to just whirl around and swing its laser sword at you. Your aura of protection actually does deflect this laser sword. Not being able to do anything to aid Grog directly, she is going to sprint across the battlefield.
You did this to him! Let my friend go!
It seems her dagger's slightly piercing through this translucent blue veil and making direct connection with Camille's chromium flesh and tearing her clothes even more. As Crystal is assaulting Camille, Grundle continues his onslaught against the servers and throws 2 more of his Hellfire tinctures, igniting them in flames and getting the rest of the servers down on the base floor. Zana, it is your turn. You hear even more explosions and laser shots going on downstairs, and you can see as the flames are rising, and it's kind of getting smoky up here.
I'm going to walk on the gangway that is between these 2 platforms on each side.
Roll an acrobatics check, because you are going to have to attempt to dexterously move through the contested square of that war robot.
That is a really icky roll, but it's a total of 20.
Unfortunately, 20 does not bypass it, so you do bump into this robot. Though you are still invisible, it does not know what is going on. It wildly swings around its laser sword and just barely misses you. You are unable to pass onto that bridge with just utilizing your movement.
Then I will do it here, and I will summon a bunch of rhinos. Yeah, all 3 rhinos! I summon 2 of my rhinos on the platform adjacent from the one I'm currently on. And I'll summon 1 on the side I'm already on, a little bit ahead.
Zana, as you have summoned a rhino next to a group of the robots, they begin to turn their attention away from your comrades and instead begun attacking your summoned creatures. But a separate robot, Lucian, you notice, actually jumps down from the 2nd floor and is just hauling it over in your direction. You see as Camille reaches over to her admin portal and presses one of the intercom buttons. General Roland, would you please assist me in the server room? You see as General Roland steps back through as you notice that his singed flesh is almost regenerating. But he still seems rigid, as if something is hindering him from making any moves this round, perhaps lingering effects from the curse. It actually appears as if Grog is beginning to come more lucid. And Camille actually looks over to him yet again and looks over and says, Gareth Stone, a pleasure that you could join us. Would you mind upholding our end of the bargain?
No. Sorry about that, Mrs. Camille. It would be my pleasure.
Roll a perception check, everybody.
That is a 31 for Lucian.
A 20 for Zana.
This makes sense, as Zana, you are on the opposite side of the compound, currently even obscured by all of the fire and smoke that is around you by the burning surface. It makes it difficult to see, but you can clearly hear as Stefan screams, "Wait, no!" Lucian, you turn around to catch a glimpse as Grog just swings his warhammer and cracks Stefan over the head like his skull is a melon, absolutely bludgeoning him. Chaos unfolds as General Roland enters through the portal. There's friendly fire as Grog hits Stefan over the head. A number of the robots are shooting at the rhinos, preventing them from even being able to damage any of the servers. But as this whole calamity is unfolding before you, you hear off in the distance as an explosion unfolds. But more so in the here and now, you feel the fallout and the earth-rattling tremor. Cascading water crashes all around you, applying new pressure to the facility. The metal beams and support structures scream underneath the sudden weight and impact. Amidst the chaos, though, you hear this ominous bellow echo through the deep, and a sudden clamorous impact bursts into the building. And you see, sat atop a bronze dragon, is none other than S.
A dragon? Where'd he find that?
And I think that is where we're going to end this week's episode of The Odd Campaign. Thanks for listening, Foundlings. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please do make sure to leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast listening app, especially as we are getting ready to end not just this season, but the entire series. Your interaction and support truly does mean the world to us. So please do follow us on social media. Our Twitter and Instagram is @RollFound. You can feel free to join our Discord so you can interact with us directly and tell us your favorite moments of the Odd Campaign. Of course, if you want to help support the podcast monetarily, you can go down and you can find our coffee and our Patreon in the description below. Just like Jason Lillis and Stephen Howland have done. Thank you guys so much for being longtime supporters and fans of the show. Another special thank you to Michael Ghelfi of Michael Ghelfi Studios and Monument Studios, as well as various other artists. You can find all of their attributions also down in the description. But that's all the time we have for this week's episode, so we'll see you next week on The Odd Campaign.